Welcome to Film Room with Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell. And Coach, congratulations on your first win. I know mentally right now you're 100% on the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. But if you would, please take us through some of your favorite plays from Sunday.
Yeah, I thought it was just a huge opportunity for our team, for our coaching staff, our players to get to US Bank Stadium and have that kind of atmosphere at home. For an opponent we really wanted to, get a victory against in week one. A lot of plays we could have obviously chose from this week, but I thought we would start out with, defensively. I'm an offensive guy, but defensively, when you can hold Aaron Rodgers and that offense to very limited points compared to what they're normally able to get. It starts with the big guys up front in so many ways, and we really assembled a group up front that we really felt needed to be versatile. You get down to this first play. This is a game-changing play. We obviously had our first drive offensive. We end up with that 4th and 1 down there close. We score. They end up with that same decision to make, just a little bit closer, right in that 1.5 yard range where you could throw it, you could run it. So we really needed to call a defense when you look at this where we need to account for both. And in our defense, we know Aaron Rodgers has choices, right? They're going to look at this box and they're going to say, of all these Vikings players in there, do we have 6 guys to block those 6 guys? Well, they do, in fact. So what that normally means when you look at this is we just had Z. We had, obviously, Bullard and Harrison Phillips highlighted right there. They're going to have to fight the good fight, Pete. You know this. Yep. We've got to find a way to keep that line of scrimmage right there, because if we get knocked back even at all with a big old running back like they had right there, he's about 250 pounds. I would not recommend trying to tackle him by yourself like we've talked about to our guys all week long. Let's make sure we get a lot of purple hats to the ball. And what I think is special right here, a couple things. You see Z, the big thing right here is he's going to be the guy, if they want to have angles and potentially get a double team inside, he's going to be the guy that's got to chase it down and try to get a piece from the side. But getting a piece from the side only really matters if you get that kind of knockback right there. Look at that. You see Eric Kendricks, you see Harrison Phillips, Bullard pushing his guy almost 2-3 yards into the backfield. Where are you going to go if you're A.J. Dillon trying to punch that in? I'll tell you where you're going to go. You're going to get tackled at the 1 yard line, and we're going to try to go 99 yards right back against you.
It was an amazing play by Harrison Phillips and how he went to his right and then ricocheted back in. And then what you were talking about with Za'Darius, when those defensive ends come from behind, wrapping up the legs of the running back so they just can't keep churning because you're going to get the long whistle.
You're exactly right. And I think the big thing right here to see is just the fact that we ended up with almost 9 purple hats around the ball in a goal line defense where they're spreading you out sideline to sideline. I just thought that was an indicative play of what we were really looking for and the ability to keep them out when we had to have it. And we have a saying on defense around here. We play shell. We know that people are going to be able to churn out some plays, but you'll hear me say this a lot this year, make them snap it one more time, because we feel like with our group of 11 out there, you make them snap it one more time, we're going to find a way to keep them out.
Yeah, definitely a huge momentum turning play.
Yeah, as was this next play. When you think about explosives, we talked a lot to our team this week about wanting to be efficient and explosive. And that's not only this week, Pete, that's going to be something that I talk to you about all season long, because if we're doing what we want to do from a standpoint of running the football, you're going to be able to have options in the play pass world, but understanding that we expected them to have some real coverage principles to try to take Justin away. We really spent a lot of time as a staff and really talking through just different concepts that would provide layers to the defense, high lows, vertical stretch, horizontal stretch. So this was a really good example right here. When you look at this play, we're essentially going to short motion Adam Thielen down. KJ Osborne's going to run what we call a blazer route. He's going to take the top off. He's obviously a big alert. If they play quarters, that can show up. We're going to motion Adam down here right inside KJ, and he's going to run what we call kind of a deep diagonal right there over the top. He's really setting a moving pick is what he's doing, because what we're trying to do is get Justin, whether Jair Alexander, who I've heard a lot about how he didn't cover him and wasn't matched up with him very much. Well, I can tell you right here, he is responsible for him. We didn't really know, as Justin's going to run basically an underneath mesh, so he's not going to end up going like that, but he's going to end up finishing that way just like that. And we're going to try to get a pick right there in the middle of the field, a legal pick, just possibly on Jair, possibly on the safety, and then obviously if we get any kind of looks where this safety is going to try to help out on Justin, that's where KJ and Adam come alive. And I think there's a couple other really cool aspects of this play. Obviously, we wanted to get a little bit of a chip right there on the edges to help out my man CD on the left side. He didn't need a lot of help all day long, but he ends up trying to go in and potentially help Ezra, and we get some pressure. Kirk ends up feeling that pressure a little bit. But what I love about this play, people see all that space, right? You see all that space. That took a lot of people doing their job right there. And one of the people, as we watch this, and obviously the great finish, this is something that I think is an underrated part of Justin's game, the yards after catch, to be able to turn that into a touchdown. When we look at it from the end zone copy, and I know we'll probably get the full gritty right there, but when you look at it from the end zone copy, you're not going to see Justin, KJ, or Adam on the screen right here. But what I want you to notice right here is obviously their rookie linebacker. All right, I think this kid's going to be a really good player, but we wanted to put him, especially when he was the underneath cover player, we wanted to put him in a bind all day long. So when you watch this, you're going to feel Justin. He's going to release, and he's going to run across the field right there. But you're also going to feel Irv get that pick, and then he's going to run a shallow across the field just like that. And all we're trying to do is make number 7 right there decide, who am I going to cover?
As Jack Del Rio called it, the cheese route.
It's the cheese route, and he ended up kind of being in no man's land, to be quite honest.
Yep.
And the other thing just to make note of, everybody talks about a lot of stats in this league and guys doing this, that, and the other. You see KJ at the top, he's taking coverage with him. He's flying off the ball. That grass only opens because of his ability to take that defender off the screen. We occupy that defender right there. That corner stays attached because he knows Adam Thielen is a real threat in this league. And then ultimately we find green grass for the best receiver in football. So just an example, Kirk manipulating the pocket, holding on to that ball just long enough. But as we watch it one more time, I just want you guys to see something. Kirk Cousins in the pocket. Quarterbacks that have played as much as Kirk, they have an innate feel for this right here. He knows. Yep. He knows Preston's unblocked. He doesn't know he's stumbling, but he feels it, and he's willing to stand in there and deliver that ball. Just watch when he starts his arm right here and tell me right there that he knows exactly. We talk a lot about anticipation throws. JJ's still right over the ball, and that ball hasn't even left his hand yet, and now he's going to throw that thing and lead him out to a spot into that green grass that we hope to get when we talked about this play on Wednesday.
And you hear about, you talk to quarterbacks a lot about that in the transition from college to the NFL, and that's throwing your guys open.
That's exactly right.
He's throwing that football well before Justin Jefferson's obviously.
Yep, voids and vacancies, and it's a huge part of it. You know, shifting back to the defensive side, I thought, you know, a couple huge plays in the game where our guys really, you know, went into this game with an idea of, we talk a lot about the marriage of the run and the pass, you know, offensively, but defensively, we talk a lot about the marriage of rush and coverage, and I thought this was a great example. So when you look at it, obviously this is going to be the Harrison Smith interception right here. We're going to end up getting a great legal shot on Aaron Rodgers late in the down, just those remember me shots that tend to kind of stack up throughout the game. But what I want fans to really see is Ed Donatel and his coverage structure. All right, this could be a lot of different coverages. Our guys will play coverages where Harry could be responsible for the half right there. He may, we call him drop down in here as a trick safety, we call it. He may be responsible for the flat right there. He may be responsible for the deep middle. They have no idea. And more importantly, when I say they, this guy has no idea. So he's got to see coverage post snap. He's got to see what we have going on. And then watch the way we match out these routes. Tell me where you're going to go with the ball right here. We got a half field look over here, basically 3-on-2 right there. We've got a double team with low hole help and then Harry over the top. And then what I think is so special about this play is we had a real mindset in this game to make sure that these backs couldn't sneak out of the backfield for checkdowns and end up being explosives. So what happens is when we look at it from this view, everybody's covered. That ends up being desperation mode. And then this guy's done this how many times in his career, going up and getting the football. And then you see all the purple hats coming to the party. But from the end zone, let's take a look at now how the rush married with this coverage and really kind of affected this game multiple ways. As we start to play it right here, we're going to end up with one of our front structures right here where fans will see we're going to try to get 55 and 99 on the same side.
Yeah.
But to do that, you got to have a rusher with a little bit of juice away, and we're lucky to really have 4 guys that we feel great about. With obviously that's DJ right there. We'll bring in Pat Jones from time to time, but we're moving around Z, we're moving around Daniil, and then a Harrison Phillips trying to get a legit push in that pocket, being part of a little bit of a game right here as we go to rush with these guys. And what you're going to see is DJ kind of beats that chip, gets a good push in this pocket. Aaron feels it. Look at him. He's starting his arm. Does he know the coverage? Does he not? He doesn't. And he's kind of anticipating what he's going to get. He doesn't like it. He's got to pull it back. And now at this point, this is when the coverage and rush get tied together. Can we go finish this thing? Can we chase him down before this guy can get out of the pocket? And just take a look at Z, all right, as he did all day long, that relentless finish. And then right as Aaron goes to throw this ball, we're in great position right here by Harry in the deep half of the field to basically make it an us or nobody type of defensive play. We talk about that a lot on offense, but then watch the finish by Z. All right, that kind of finish on this guy takes its toll over and over again. Harrison Phillips showing up. Hey, I thought he was just supposed to be a run, stop, and D tackle. Look at this guy go finish in the pass game, and we get that shot on Aaron. And time again, these plays kind of stacked up on them as an offense.
Such a smart play by Harrison. He knew Cobb maybe wanted to come underneath, and as soon as a scramble, they like to go deep, and he stayed up. DBs are just receivers that can't catch, right?
That's exactly right.
But that guy can catch.
Until they aren't. That's what I always tell quarterbacks, because they are until they aren't, and then they end up with the ball in their hands. And then the last play we'll take a look at, obviously, is Jordan Hicks. This is a really cool play right here because it ends up being a lot of really good stuff going on. So once again, what do you notice? We're moving Z around enough. So now you've seen him lined up here. He lined up on the edge. Now he's going to hit a rush right here where he's just going to beat the center so quickly that now A.J. Dillon, as the back right here, is technically responsible to try to save the day. And unfortunately, that didn't happen for the Packers. But fortunate for us, we got that guy on our team now. And
that's a 250-pound man.
Exactly
that
right.
running back.
And take a look at what happens right here. So now you've got a situation where he ends up in the backfield. Now no longer, guess who was supposed to obviously cover that running back in coverage right here? That was Jordan Hicks. So what I want you to see is Z's impact on the game, although it didn't show up in the stat sheet on this play. Now there's no longer a running back to control Jordan in coverage, and that's just an instinctive veteran player. Nobody to cover. I'm going to go get the quarterback, and it ends up being what I call a meeting at the quarterback. It's what we try to avoid every time we drop back on offense, and what we try to do every time we force people into these known passing downs. And that right there is the meeting. You see 3 Vikings getting there all about the same time, and obviously Z and Hicksy and these guys, they ended up kind of, once again, a legal hit, but they were fired up, excited, as was I. I'm glad you didn't have me fist pumping like I was doing. I was just like Jordan right there, all fired up and ready to go, and then there goes DT out of the pile, high stepping with the football. So huge impactful plays, really good examples though, Pete, of rush and coverage working together, all 11 mentalities on offense, defense. We could have shown some great special teams plays where it all came together for us.
We as coaches love talking about scheme, but to see these guys get out there and be that physical.
Effort and physicality,
that is,
no doubt.
That to me stood out. It was as physical we've been with this team as we have in a long time.
It's a great point.
Once again, Coach, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you next week. Stay tuned. We'll be back with Coach Kevin O'Connell.